first off, the education reform side of things. So if you don't know, Trump, one of his, I don't know, kind of like main things that he was trying to accomplish whenever he took office was revamping the educational system for the entire US. Because while we have put trillions of dollars into teaching our youth and trying to grow and be kind of a better America, the education system has suffered tremendously, even with all that money going into it. So I think we're ranked like number 40 in the world for like our education, and that's bad. That's super bad. So kind of what's going on. He is trying to get rid of the Department of Education. He is trying to basically branch out some of the services like the lunches and breakfast and all that stuff. I think Marie has a little list of kind of where everything's going to go, but he is trying to pass those off to other organizations and really get this under control and have it more, instead of a nationwide controlled thing, it would be more of a state by state, and you kind of control what's going on in your state with the education of your children. So do you want to go over the stuff like where everybody's kind of going?
Right. So one of the questions that a lot of people had are breakfast and lunch programs going to now be dissolved because of that? And they're saying that now they're going to be started to be funded by the Department of Agriculture
Mm-hmm.
instead of the Department of Education. What about children that have special needs, that have IEPs? Because you and I both know we both have kids that have
Mm-hmm.
IEPs, right? And
Yep.
that's a big deal.
Yep.
They're saying that the IEPs and stuff like that is going to be moved to the Department of Health and Human Services, and that none of these things are going to be taken away. They're just going to be moved to different governing agencies, grants, scholarships, Pell Grants, things that people rely on to get into programs in different schools. And that's all going to be transferred to the Department of Treasury.
My biggest thing with that stuff, anytime you have like a big change like this, things are going to be different. Things are going to be good, things are going to be bad. It's kind of going to be all over the place. But like from the IEP standpoint, I don't know if it's necessarily as effective as it could be for like jacks and stuff. But at the same time, the little bit it is doing, I don't want that to stop either. Like I'm so worried if it goes somewhere else, they're just going to throw everything out and start from scratch. And in the meantime, yes, they're going to be looking at the future, but the kids now are going to suffer.
Right. And I also think that a lot of these kids now are suffering because
Anyways.
of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
That put
It,
a lot of the kids behind, my
yep.
kids included. My kids' reading and writing levels are way behind other students because of that. Because during the time of COVID, they really didn't want, a lot of kids spent more time at home, more, oh, you could just sit on your tablet, or the schools were giving tablets and devices out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these kids learned their almost addiction for games and all these things even more during that time period.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like what is actually causing this? Because there's stuff like all the cell phones, and that is a huge distraction for kids nowadays. Like I feel like back in the day, you had to kind of focus on school because whenever you were in there, yeah, you could fart around with your friends and do all that type of stuff, but it was still very school focused. Now all the kids are in school and on a little laptop or something, and they're just playing a game on the laptop, not really paying attention. So I'm
Right.
sure that has kind of caused things to fumble. COVID, it did. I think it just made things quicker and more drastic, which happened with a lot of things. I mean, so much changed because of that, and like the whole social media movement just exploded because of that. But at the same time, these numbers have been dropping. I want to say since the late '90s.
So they
I,
were saying, even with inflation included, it's gone from 14 billion to 80 billion in recent years. Nationwide, less than 32% of children are proficient in reading, and less than 31% of children are proficient in math.
and you got to think about that. You're talking what class sizes are normally like 25 to 30 kids. So
My kids' class sizes are between like 28 and 35 students in each
they're,
class.
they're getting to be a lot. Yeah.
Right. And these
So
are my kids have on their IEPs that they should be in smaller group settings. And they don't get those smaller group settings because the school only offers like two kindergarten classes, two of each grade.
So basically, all of the kids that currently have IEPs, they already aren't getting what they need. So maybe it will
Correct.
change.
I really
Maybe,
don't think they're getting like I have to go in there sometimes with that mama bear energy that
yep.
I don't really like to bring out, running my mouth and advocating for my kids. And when I go walking through those school doors, a lot of the times the they're already like, oh shit, it's her coming. It's that parent, the one that runs her mouth all day. You
It's
know
a
why?
crazy kid.
Because I will always fight for my kids, and I consider that advocating.
Real quick while it's up here, so Melissa said in the chat she's having issues with her daughter. Hasn't been to school since January. So that is exactly what we went through with one of our kids. So one of the biggest failings that I'm seeing from school, and we've talked about this a little on here, but T was allowed to not go to school for literally years. I mean, he once he got into high school, he didn't go at all. He would maybe go once or twice. He got moved to a different school. He got moved to one of the like special schools to help the bad kids and stuff like that. Didn't go there either. Skipped out on it all the time. And then he ended up completely dropping out. But after he dropped out, they basically let him just have his GED. And actually, I take that back. They did not let him have his GED. They let him have his diploma. He
Wow.
he took a test, and that was it, and passed. And now he's graduated 2 years ahead of all his peers without going to school. And just like whenever he wasn't going to school and he was failing everything, at the end of the year, they would just say, "Oh, do this worksheet, and you can have 3,000 points of extra credit," and would send them on through because they don't hold kids back anymore. That is why the education system is failing, because you can go in, do absolutely nothing, and still excel.
Well,
But
that's what I was noticing with my kids, to be honest with you. When they were at a different school previously, they were just being pushed through, even though they were on IEPs. These are kids that truly were not up to grade level with reading, writing. Like, I'm talking about a sixth grader with like a second grade reading level.
and like Melissa said, the school called DCFS on her. But here's my thing: what do you, as a parent, what do you want me to do? Because now I had to also worry about his dad and dealing with him if I, forced him to go to school. But what do you want me to do? I can't put my hands on him, so I can't grab him and take him out. That right there, if he says no, there is no other option. I can take everything from him, but we did that. He just slept through every single day once we took everything from him. So you're gonna get on me because I can't do anything, and that's the position that DCFS has put us in. So I don't know. I think it's obviously, I'm not saying you should beat the crud out of your children because they aren't going to school, but even being able to pick up your kid and physically move them, that shouldn't be a problem.
Melissa, my kids were the same way. My daughter would cry to me every day. I don't want to go to school. I hate school. I'm getting bullied. I'm getting picked on. My stomach hurts. I got anxiety. Every now and then, I would be really good on saying, all right, if you need a mental health day, I'll work with you. I'll allow you to stay home. But after this mental health day, you got to get yourself re regulated and back on track. But it's hard for kids that can't even self regulate emotionally to do those things a lot of times. It's out of the child's control. And a lot of times, these schools don't know what to do with these kids because they label them as problems when it's really just they're overstimulated in these large class settings. You know, having 32 kids in a class when you're already struggling and you don't like loud noise and it's overstimulating to you, that's a lot on a child because it's a lot on a parent.
And so, on top of all of that, how much of these I don't know, issues that kids are having, how many of these mental health issues are because of all this stuff that they're fed, like all literally the food you eat, because all the stuff, it has been proven fact that most of the food you get from the store, it all has stuff in it that causes depression, hyperactivity, all this stuff. And then the hospitals and doctors and medical professionals all get all this money from trying all these medications to supposedly help them, and then they're in school and they're suffering, and it's just it is all about making money. And obviously the education system has been making money because they're spending everything they're getting even though they aren't helping the kids. So it's like it's a never ending cycle. So I agree. I think school should be reformed. One thing I think really is helping. So school is not like it used to be. The teachers are not like it used to be. So back in my day, uh, most of the teachers that you would see, that it'd be like some 65-year-old uh, mean lady. Nowadays, they got some like 22-year-olds, really hot, the kids want to get into school. They got teachers gangbanging the kids, all types of stuff. I mean, where was that whenever I was in school? That sounds like a blast. So
It's crazy.
and that was obviously a joke. Please don't,
Right, right,
please
right.
don't be stupid. But it's just like that's the other thing. So they have all these teachers coming in that are who knows how well educated. They're doing essay acts on children.
Now, that's one thing that I do want to say. My son's teacher was just fired for doing that with a child
Yeah.
essay. And my son came home and explained it to me. And he's like, Mom, my science teacher is no longer my science teacher because he touched a girl inappropriately.
The situation that I was just talking about was this teacher had like 12 students that she was assaulting, and she had like three of them run a train on her and all types of stuff. And it's like this is I see one of these every like 2 or 3 weeks. There aren't that many teachers out there. So the fact that at least even 2 to 3% are doing this to the kids, I don't know. It's schools are, I would really like to see schools change up the menu, like the lunch menu and everything like that. I think that it should go back to being a little healthier. You go into other countries, pretty much anywhere, their school lunches and what they're doing for the kids, it's like crazy, crazy healthy and great fresh food that they're all getting despite the cost. We're already spending a shit ton, so you can't tell me that we can't do it because they're doing it for cheaper. So it's like seeing something like that would be huge, because that's usually why we pack the kids lunches, because I don't want them having that crap because it's all nonsense. I think actually separating the kids that are struggling and having like those more private classes again, I think that would be good. The problem is there are so many kids struggling nowadays that they won't even be private classes anymore. Like it's so common.
Well, I don't understand, especially when a child has an IEP and you have it in writing from like a psychiatrist saying this child really struggles with
Mhm.
being overstimulated and getting overwhelmed. They have to have a smaller classroom setting. And even these private schools are not, they don't have the capacity to do that. They just don't have it. The classroom sizes are large no matter what. And your child just gets thrown into the same box that
That's
everyone
absolutely.
else gets thrown into.
Yep. Yeah, and Melissa talking about her daughter kind of stands alone at recess and eats lunch alone and all that. I think another thing that's kind of changed the game is kids back in the day, if you were getting bullied at school or something, you could escape it. You could go, hopefully, you could escape it. You could go home and not be involved in that world just for a little bit and kind of recollect yourself. Nowadays, with social media and everything, you'll go home just to get bullied online too. And it's a constant cycle of negativity and people coming after you. And I think that's really affecting mental health kind of altogether. So I don't know. I don't know how we could change this to actually make it better.
It's disappointing looking at the numbers, though. And it's disappointing that no matter how much we advocate for our kids and we try to get them what they really need, that it's not even something that can be provided by the school because they're not even equipped.
That's the
That's
problem.
why that's why the school's calling me half the time, come pick your kids up. Because they literally send the child out of the room and they just sit them in a room for the day. So the child's missing out on being educated. They're
Yep.
just literally sitting in a room all day. That's not the way that it should be run. That's not the way that things work out so that kids can continue to learn. Where's the learning then if they're just being pushed away because you're bad?
I don't know. Do you think it'd be better to switch purely to online?
No, nope,
No.
nope, not for me.
No, no, I'm not talking about for you though. I'm talking about in general. Do you
Nope,
think why not?
nope, not at all. Because during the vid, like I am not meant for homeschooling. That is something that I will not do. It is something that I cannot do with the way that my kids are because they don't listen to me like that. Like,
But I'm not talking homeschool. I'm talking they literally go like
nope,
online, and that's
nope,
all they do.
no, because I feel like kids this day and age, their attention span is so short. They can't even. I can't even watch a 3 minute long TikTok video. So how's the child going to sit there and focus?
But since that is the direction all the kids have gone, and the fact that they're all about the electronics and doing things on the computer and everything, if
Not when it comes to school. Only when it comes to having fun.
that's because it's not being done in a way that suits online education. You know what I mean? If they revamped things and made it so yes, it was all online, but they really actually made it interesting,
I would literally have a nervous breakdown. I'm not gonna lie. I would probably end up in a psych ward.
it would make things hard again for parents. Like
Especially when you're doing it all alone. And, you know, I can't even do, my son is in eighth grade. I can't even do or help him with his math homework at all.
it's very different than it was whenever because they keep coming up with all these new ways to,
Strategies, right?
and it's just like none of this makes sense. Especially math. Like math in general does not make sense at all. All the ways they teach are stupid because it's like, oh, go fill in this box while you carry the number over here, and we're doing 1 plus 1. Why do we have boxes, motherfucker? Like that's the type of shit I saw from coming from Jackson.
I gotta use Chat GPT to do the homework as well. But when they want it broken down, like how did you come up with that answer?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Look,
know.
I held up one finger and then held up the other, and I had two. I didn't do long division to get there, motherfucker. I don't know. Like, yeah,
It is so much, but that's what gives me anxiety because my son, I already am not capable to help him. And
yeah.
then with my littler ones, I like with some of their learning delays and stuff like that, they would take the information from someone else before they would take it from me. It would be easier, like patience wise, I don't really have the best patience when it comes to trying to teach people things.
Do you remember? I don't know. It was probably like 20 years ago. How much they were pushing like fuck. I can't like learn on phonics. I can't think of all the things, but there was
Like
all
hooked on
yes,
phonics.
yes. So all those extra teaching methods and classes that you could do, and they had like straight up businesses out there where you could send your kids to like the mathletics place or whatever, and they could get help with math and all that stuff. Do you notice how much that shit died off? Like it is not.
Right.
There's still a place. Hell, right down the street from us, but that's about all I can think of. And there's none of that anymore. There's no like you may get like ABC Mouse or something where there's all this stuff trying to teach kids on the computer and whatever, but it's all designed for younger kids. There's nothing to help them once they get through kind of those fundamental ages. And I think that's where things are dropping off too, because they need that. If they're struggling, they're just screwed.
Right. And a child that's already struggling isn't going to sit there in front of a computer and try to figure it out.
Whenever I first started college, I was doing computer programming, and I was doing something else. I can't remember. But those, I learned very quick how much it sucked if you didn't know what you were doing and you're stuck. You can reach out to the teacher, and 3 days later, once your assignment is late, then you may get help. And it's just like, I cannot fix this without help. And Google and all that stuff is a lot better now. But still, it's like,
We didn't have stuff like Google.
no, no,
There was no cell phone, there was no Google,
nope,
there was no way to use Chat GPT to write a paper, an essay for you.
nope. That was when I realized, because I didn't like going to school either. It was not, especially whenever I was like 18. Shit, I knew everything. I was out drinking every night. Why I want to go to school? But I learned real fast. Oh, if I don't actually do in-person class, then I'm fucked. Like,
Right.
there's no way I can learn this. And part of that was what I was trying to learn, because computer programming, if you can't figure out how to write a piece of code, there's not really a way to figure that out. You have to learn very, very specific things that a book can't always help you with either. So I get why kids are struggling so much, because even the kids that are going to school, like whenever they have a half day or a snow day or whatever, the go-to is always, oh, we're just gonna do an online class. No, don't do an online class. We need in-person stuff.
I couldn't deal with it. Like honestly, I need that little separation and break from my kids, and I'm just being honest. Like
Yeah,
I can't be around them and trying to be the mom, the disciplinarian, the one to take care of the house, to keep their mental health appointments all in check and be the educator.
I agree. All right, Greenland. We buying it or no?
I
Uh,
don't know anything about that. You fill me in.
how much would you pay for Greenland? What you
Well,
got?
it's green. I like the color green.
All right. So what? You thinking 30 billion? Yeah, yeah. That's
I
low.
don't know. I think I it would have to be into the trillion, I would say, for to buy a whole.
So if you don't know a lot about Greenland, so this is kind of what you're buying into. You are buying a island, a very large island that is basically main resource for a very long time has been fishing. Um, Most of the island, even though it's large, is covered by ice. But as global warming is kicking up and things are getting hotter, a lot of that ice is melting, and they're finding, oh, there are minerals under that ice, like iron and
Dang.
uranium and all types of stuff. So it's actually turning into a really, really big place. There's only like 56,000 people there. It's something really, really low, but they are governed pretty independently of themselves. I think in like 1979 or something, they made it so they were in charge of their own state, basically. The problem is in back in World War II, the Nazis were trying to go for Greenland and take it because it was a very strategic place between Russia and the US. So we hopped in and basically said, oh, because of that, we want to help take Greenland back, make sure it stays safe. And because there's not enough people there, we are going to help with your military strategies. And we're going to put bases over there and we're going to make sure you guys are strong so Greenland isn't lost. The problem was after World War II, we never left. So we still have bases there. Like we have, I can't think of the name of it. It's a weird name, but there's a space base there. It used to be an Air Force base. It is now a Space Force base. Um, and basically, Trump is trying to buy it because he wants those minerals. He wants that land. He wants those resources. And then it is also because of the strategic position. Because if Russia was to come after us or to send nukes over or anything like that, the quickest way is by Greenland. So we want to have things in place to kind of protect us. So supposedly Trump is trying to buy them out. He tried in his first term, I believe, and it was rejected because now it's like a Dutch state. It's part of the Dutch, I don't know, colonies, whatever. It is a big thing, but I also wonder how much pressure him going after that puts on Canada because even though it's not great from the military perspective, whenever it comes to like positioning other than the nuclear side, we would have Canada covered on both sides now, and Canada is already tripping. So
Right.
I don't know. I think it is a weird thing to go after. I think there are other things. What I don't quite understand, Trump's whole, I don't know, shtick is bringing America back to what it was. And I totally agree with that. I think that is great. But why, whenever we are talking about bringing America back to what it was, why are we going after all these other countries? Greenland, Canada, China, Mexico. I get that there's involvement. I understand why, but I feel like we aren't focusing on ourselves. The educational side is one thing and all that, but I don't know. I feel like nothing's getting done.
I feel like it's more power and more control and more of like we're branching out and umbrellaing all this stuff to the USA.
I feel for like over the last 2 months, while like all this stuff has happened and Trump has like thrown so many different things out there, made all these plans, I feel like not a lot has actually been accomplished that is helping the American people.
Here I am, someone that is, I depend on certain things as my income because I'm technically disabled.
Right.
So those things are being threatened to be now taken away. So
Right.
now it's making me freak out because I'm thinking, what can I do now to make a little extra money? What can I do to put myself, and that's why honestly, I've been really trying to push making TikTok shop videos lately because I figure if other people are using their platform for good, not only to spread awareness with certain things, but also, other people use their platform for TikTok shop and have made
Yeah.
it and have made thousands. If I could just have one video hit though,
Oh, I know.
that's the problem. There's a lot of fish in the sea, but I will try and I will keep making an effort for my kids.
I hate to put it like this, but and hopefully TikTok has changed. I'm really hoping since it's kind of being revamped and everything, I hope it does kind of make a difference. But I don't think any of those videos will ever really, really hit the way you need them to because
Right.
you have been too honest. You can't be honest on here and you can't talk about important stuff. Whenever you do, you just lose out. You can talk about recovery, you can talk about, some serious topics, but you have to navigate it a certain way. And if you don't, and if you're like telling the whole truth and you are using words that people don't want you to use, you'll never get pushed out. You will be
You know what really aggravates me though about this platform? They're letting like the bad moms club and all the
Mhm.
bad parents of TikTok being the ones that are making bank, blowing up, making bank because people love drama and they love seeing stuff like that. But they don't like people that are truly putting their heart out there on a daily basis to really try to make a difference,
Yep.
to help someone, to really change someone's life.
So you can be genuine and do something that's not like drama filled and you can make it on here. Look at people like Keith Lee and stuff like that. He didn't do anything crazy, but that's the thing. He was just eating food and doing food reviews. That's not making waves. That's not doing anything that's really going to affect anyone in a wrong way. So of course he's going to get pushed out.
You know what kills me? Like, I give a lot of my time away for free. I
Mhm.
help a lot of, like, when people message me, there's not one person that could say that I never responded back to them
Yeah.
when it comes to recovery. I'm always on top of it. I engage with people. I message them back. I give them my phone number. If I can help you in any which way, I will help you. But that is taken away from my time. And it's just given away for free. I don't mind giving it away for free. But also, it just sucks because I can't get ahead because a lot of my time
It's
is
wrapped up.
given away for free.
How many hours do you think you and I have spent that we have given away for free?
Oh my God. I spend half of my week giving it away for
Yeah.
free. I,
Yeah.
I'm serious. I talk people off ledges on the phone half of
Yeah.
times and you know, I just really, really I just want people to not feel alone because I remember when I had no one to turn to. And I remember what it felt like to know that there wasn't one person to care how I felt in this world.
Right.
And that's why I do give my time away for free because I'll never forget what it felt like when I had no one.
Mm-hmm. Trust me, I know. I know. I'm over here trying to think about because we're probably talking between the two of us, probably talking about 40 hours a week at least. We'll go lowball it because that makes sense. So 40 hours a week. What's 40 times 52?
Don't ask me math. We already discussed the fact that I can't even add, Kyle. Come on. And the thing is, it's like, I really love helping people. I have such a passion when it comes to helping people.
Yeah.
But it also gets to the point where, you know, you help people and there's always going to be new people that need more help. But
Always.
it gets to a point also where people get annoyed with the TikTok shop videos. I know I do, but I just ask the people that do follow me if I've ever helped you in any sort of way, like if you're going to order something, try to at least watch my video, like it, or just like try. If you're going to order something from TikTok Shop and maybe I don't have it linked, the product, ask me to link it and I'll be more than happy to.
I think you would have to start a new account.
Yeah, you're probably right. I should start trying to build my backup account for that.
Yeah, I would have to do the same. That's one of the reasons why I kind of calmed down on TikTok. I still help people on here quite a bit, but like, there's no point spending the time for a video that's not going to go out anymore because we've been shut down so much.
Right.
This stuff I don't mind doing either because we actually get to interact and they can't block it as much. And then it just goes on YouTube so anybody can watch it. But yeah, I don't know. I've thought about it. I've thought about starting a completely separate account and probably doing a different device and doing TikTok shop. It's just the money isn't you have to get really lucky for the money to be right. You know what I mean? And people are starting to unfortunately get really, really skeptical of TikTok shop
I love
because
TikTok Shop. I order everything on TikTok Shop now. I don't even go to Amazon. It's all TikTok Shop. I love it.
but you get a lot of fake stuff on here. A lot of it's bullshit.
I don't buy anything that is like, I don't buy supplements and stuff like that. I buy clothing. And you know what?
Oh,
For
yeah.
the price, the quality is good. Like everything that I love on that I get on TikTok, I wouldn't make a video if I didn't like the product. Like that's just how I am. If I don't like it, I'm sorry, I'm not talking about it.
In clothing is a little different. Clothing, I mean, you can get something super cheap, but whenever it's
Right.
$2, who cares? Yeah, it's the items. Like they sell all types of flashlights and hell, what was that big one? The Knobs toothpaste and all that stuff. There were people selling the legit item, and then there are people selling some like knockoff that doesn't work. So many people got ripped off from TikTok Shop. It's crazy. All right, we are trying to finish up here soon, so let's get into Joe Gatto real quick. So if you don't know who Joe Gatto is, he is one of the original Impractical Jokers. That was a show that was on, I'm pretty sure it's still on somewhere, but that was a popular show from like 2000 to 2010. He is a comedian and he's been around for a long time. He's pushing like I want to say like 43, 46, somewhere around there. And he has been doing comedy for probably 3 decades around there. So he made Impractical Jokers. They've kind of slowed down on the show a little bit. And he is doing a lot more like comedy tours over the last couple of years. I think he actually just got done with a tour like 6 or 8 months ago or something like that. So he's getting ready to do one of his shows, and some girl kind of approaches him. I feel like it was in a restaurant. Approaches him, talks to him for a quick sec, trying to get some tickets, get some free tickets out of it, stuff like that. They end up starting to DM. He gives her the free tickets, and
No, she paid for the tickets, but he offered her like a backstage pass. She paid for the
oh,
tickets and
that's
he
right.
gave her like a
That's right.
backstage pass type deal.
That's right. Okay, so gets a VIP ticket, I guess,
Right.
and goes to the show. Everything is good. I mean, there's not really anything crazy going on. She goes home, and then she, for whatever reason, hits him up. They continue to talk. The friend is kind of pushing her, suggesting that she should keep like messaging him and stuff like that. And Joe allegedly invites her to his hotel.
They put the message chat on so that the messages could vanish also.
So they had it in vanish mode. She went to the hotel, and basically whenever everything happened, this all happened back in 2023. So this was a while ago. Um, so she decides to start posting on TikTok that she was essayed by Joe Gatto and get blows up. Obviously, it's this big thing. She tried to claim that she didn't think it would blow up that much. Motherfucker, if you saying something like that, of course it's gonna blow up. Like, how? That's just stupid. But whenever she was questioned about what actually happened, she said that all this happened. She got invited to the hotel, and her words verbatim were, "Some stuff happened," and that's it. So she won't go into any detail about the actual event, and I get that from a trauma standpoint, but
And she also posted pictures on her TikTok where it shows like it looks like the back of her butt cheek. And you could see bruising, but it looked like bruising that was like not concentrated to one like very small area.
yeah,
It was kind of all over bruising. And she's saying that he bit her.
it doesn't look like a bite at all. It really
Right.
doesn't.
That's why I specified that it looked like, when you're even just maybe just being rough in the what
Yeah.
kind of bruising.
Well, and she's more than happy to show the picture of the bruising in her butt on TikTok, but she won't talk about anything that happened in the hotel room. Like the second she talks about going in, like she won't talk about anything else. And there has been so many incidents lately of people kind of crying wolf and making up these fake allegations. I feel like this could be another one and just another example of a person who's famous potentially getting their career, marriage, children's life.
One thing that doesn't make sense to me is I don't think that she went to the police over this. She went to the internet and
Yeah,
not the police. But I always, from a woman's perspective, believe the victim. You never know if trauma is one of the reasons why she might not have done it that way. Who knows? We don't know until we know all the facts.
the problem is it's been proven false so often. I can't believe the victim anymore because there have been more victims being proven wrong than not anymore. Because they're all lying, and they'll admit it afterwards. They'll admit that they lied to try and get some money. And the only thing that really throws me off with him, so I've watched so many podcasts with him, like on there as a guest. I've kind of followed all of their careers and stuff like that. The thing that's kind of thrown me off is the fact that whenever he was getting questioned about it, he said he was going to step down from the public eye for a little bit, and he was going to try and focus on him and his family and stuff. If you didn't do anything, it's hard because no matter what, it makes him look guilty. But at the same time, like maybe he is just trying to step down from the public eye because now there's this person dragging his name through the mud and he wants to make sure it doesn't affect his family.
At the time that this happened, this was in 2023. She
Yep.
was 19 years old and he was
Yeah.
47 at the time. He
Yeah.
was also in the process of rekindling his relationship with his wife. They
Yep.
were through a separation at that time. They're rekindling things, and now these allegations come out.
And they've been good for the last little bit. They're working on building the house. Um, it just, I don't know. It seems super off. It's just really sad. I hope that he didn't do anything because I like him as a comedian and everything. But who knows?
A lot of these people in power when it comes to the music industry,
Mhm.
like the actors, actresses, a lot of people abuse their power, unfortunately.
Well, and like we were talking about beforehand, though, you know what? The age difference, I don't care about that. She's legal. Also, you were going to his hotel room.
Right.
Like, what did you think the goal was?
Also, her friend encouraged her to go to the hotel room. As a
Right.
friend, I would never encourage my friend to go to someone's hotel room if I would never let them go alone unless I thought she was going to hook up with someone.
it doesn't make sense. I think she was okay with something happening, maybe even if she didn't necessarily want it, she was okay with it. And then whenever it did happen, she knew she could use that for money. I feel like that's all it was. But who knows? All right, since the kids are losing it, you good, homie?
Yeah,
All
I think
right.
we're gonna have to cut it. I got kids that want to go to a parade.
Yep, all good. All
Mom
right.
life.
Thank you everybody for coming on. Thank you. I felt pretty out of it this whole time, so thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Thank you.